Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hector Dominguez. I'm here on behalf of the Cook County Assessor's Office. We're going to do something special today. We understand that it's holiday season, that people are out enjoying their families, or you're running around trying to get last minute Christmas gifts, whatever the case is. We wanted to do a special appeal seminar for Hyde Park Township residents today. So that's what we're going to do. Today, we are going to have the assessor. He's going to be on here with us shortly. Also with us today, we have our director of communications, Angelina, and Fritz just popped us. So look at this. Look how it all just works out. So go ahead, boss.
Oh, hey, Hector. Well, this is a special pleasure to be here with all of you today. As someone who grew up in Hyde Park, who still has family in Hyde Park, it's just a pleasure to be talking to you and help you to understand assessments. Not only your assessment, but how your assessment fits into the bigger picture. Both of those are important. And so thank you for being with us here today, especially during the super busy holiday season when we're all overcoming all these obstacles that we have in our lives of all sorts. So thank you everyone for being here. Today, we're going to give you two different things that can be useful for you as a homeowner, as someone who participates in our property tax system. First of all, we're going to give you part of the bigger picture. The bigger picture is important. The bigger picture affects your bill. And it's because the key thing to know is that what matters is not only your own assessment, but how other people are assessed. How other people are assessed affects your bill. So we're going to give you some important data, important information for how all this fits together, how to understand an assessment, because a change in your assessment does not involve the same change in your property taxes. If you have an assessment rising, you can actually have your bill fall, which has happened to a lot of people. So we'll show you how that happens. And then we'll give you some information for how you can advocate for yourself within this system and make sure you're getting all the benefits that you deserve and that your assessment reflects the fair value of your home rather than something else. So let's get started with that. We got our great members of our team here with Hector and Angelina, so we can get started right here. We'll go right into the presentation material. So first of all, what do we do as the assessor? Why do assessments matter? So here at the assessor's office, we're one half of the property tax system. It's the part of the property tax system that is about dividing up a burden that's already been determined by your taxing bodies. And we use assessments to do that. And our job is deceptively simple. It's to estimate the market value of buildings. Every building in Cook County, that's our job. This map that you see on the right-hand side, this is the average single-family value in different parts of Hyde Park Township. Hyde Park Township is a huge area. It's south of Pershing, east of State, all the way south to the end of the city limits, and east all the way to the border with Indiana and the lake. So it's quite a large area, many different neighborhoods with many different characteristics. It's not just Hyde Park, the neighborhood. It goes all the way down to the east side, Edgewish and Pullman, and then up to Pill Hill and South Shore, the Bush, many different neighborhoods with many different characteristics. So what these assessments are is they reflect the market value of a building as of the first of the year, and it sort of incorporates all the different changes that have happened in the last 3 years, and a lot of things have happened. The key thing to know, if you only own a piece of property in Hyde Park neighborhood, what's going on in the rest of the city matters to you, because you need to know how assessed value is changing the whole city to have an idea for how it might affect your bill next year. It gives you important context because our assessments are interconnected. We'll talk about this a bunch of times. What your assessment does in isolation is not necessarily as important as what's going on with the whole value of property across the city of Chicago. That gives you the important context to know, is my bill likely to increase or not, and by how much? And so again, that third point is a change in your assessment does not involve the same change in your taxes, and we'll show you why. Okay, let's go to the next slide here. Here you can see in a little bit more detail the average prices that we estimate for single value homes in this part of Chicago. So you can see The highest priced parts in this part of Chicago are in the Hyde Park and Kenwood neighborhoods, but you can also see that prices are a little bit more elevated as you go further into North Kenwood into Bronzeville. You start to see prices a little bit higher down in South Shore. And then as you go further south, prices are sort of towards the bottom end of the spectrum, but down towards the southeast part of the spectrum, down in Pullman, going up a little bit. But you can see there's quite a range of prices here, mostly at the lower end of the spectrum that we see compared with the rest of the city of Chicago. You can see here how much prices have changed over time. We saw in the second half of 2020 pretty strong price action. And you can see there's been a steady progression higher in average house prices across this part of Chicago. You'll see that the range, you can see what the ranges are here for condos. That middle third, it's 120 to 180,000. So a pretty tight range there. And then for single family homes, you can see it's 95 to 140,000. And that's where we estimate values landing, sort of in line with where home prices sold at the end of 2020, in 2020. And the key thing to see when you get your assessment notice is how much is the value of my house? Did the assessor's office estimate the value of my house correctly, what it could sell for? And that's really the thing to ask when you get your assessment notice. You can see here some important context. So homeowners' share of the burden is falling in Hyde Park Township. And that's a trend that we've seen elsewhere in the city in our reassessment this year, and that we've also seen in previous years in the suburbs when we've reassessed things there. The reason why is a lot of commercial properties were, we believe, underassessed by our predecessor administration. Some of these categories of property have appreciated over the last 3 years. And so commercial values rising faster than single family residential and multifamily properties, 2 to 6 units. And so the commercial share of the burden is growing, homeowner share of the burden declining. Here you can see down about 6 percentage points from 2018 to these assessments that we just sent out in 2021. And that is broadly what we're seeing in the rest of Chicago too. So you can see how residential assessments are up here, but residential share of the burden declining. And that's why even though your assessment can go up, your share of the burden can fall, and that would mean your taxes could also fall. You can go to the next slide. And by the way, there will still be appeals at our office and at the board review. So this is sort of a story in progress, but know that assessed value across the city is up about 40%. So homeowners assessments who are up less than that, if that total value in Chicago doesn't change much, you know, a lot of people, most homeowners will probably see a decline in their bill next year. Okay, so here's a little bit more detail where you can dig into our site about what's going on in your neighborhood. So you can see there are about 48,000 single family homes in this part of Chicago. We had about 1,500 sales. You can see the price range there, 100 to 190,000 in the middle third of properties that sold, and you can see where assessments landed that we sent out. You can also see in that middle row for 2 to 6 flats that there are about 16,000 of them, about 700 sold in 2020. You can see the price ranges there. And then there are a fair amount of condos in this part of Chicago, again, about 15,000. And you can see that there were fewer sales, about 600 sales, and the prices were in the approximate range of 110 to 120,000. And so you can see the ranges of assessments, but you can go and dig more into your neighborhood and see what happened in your neighborhood by going to cookcountyassessor.com and then opening the data and valuation reports links. And then you can look into your neighborhood code and see what went on in your neighborhood.
So this is the part where you want me to take over, boss, or you want to keep going?
Well, I can hand it to you from right here, Hector. So just a reminder, our job at the assessor's office is to estimate the value of 1.9 million parcels. We don't set taxes here. That's set by the city and the schools. And they determine how much money has to be collected across the city what we do is we estimate the value of properties. We're a little bit over 225 people estimating the value of close to 2 million properties. So we have to use something called a mass appraisal system. We have data about sales in your neighborhood and the characteristics of homes that sold in your neighborhood. And then we use that information to try to value every single other property in your neighborhood that didn't sell. And the thing to know is that in all these cases, you or the homeowner knows more about their house than we do. So sometimes our numbers, maybe they can fall off the mark. And that's why it's important for you to make sure that our estimate of value was accurate. And if it wasn't, bring it to our attention so we can make sure that we get it right. You can do that through the appeals process. We also administer exemptions. Exemptions are a way to take some value off the top of your bill to provide you tax savings. And we can tell you more about those. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it off to our pro, Hector, who will take it away and help you figure out how to navigate for yourself within the system.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. First of all, let's give the assessor a round of applause. He could have been anywhere else in the world, but he's here with us, just like you all. So round of applause. So Cook County's triennial reassessment cycle. Basically, what this is every 3 years, properties must be reassessed. There is absolutely no way that the assessor's office could reassess almost 2 million different properties every single year. That's why we have to break it up. We are in 2021. That's why we are doing the city portion. Next year, we will be doing the northern parts of the county. And last year, we did the southern parts of the county. When you are being reassessed, specifically in your reassessment year, you have 30 days to file your appeal. So for you all in Hyde Park, I'm looking at the calendar right now. Yours was issued on December 15th, and your deadline is January 21, 2022. Going into the new year, guys. On your left, on your left, because you're watching it, on your left in black, white, and gray is a reassessment notice. This is issued from our office. This is not a tax bill. This is not a tax bill. This is not a tax bill. All this is our office letting you know what we believe your property value is. If you agree, then you have nothing to do. If you disagree, then you must file an appeal. On the right-hand side is a tax bill. You get 2 of these a year, blue and white. And when it's colder outside, you may have already paid yours, actually, if you pay ahead. And the yellow and blue one, when it's warmer outside, this is issued by the treasurer's office. So just to reiterate, your deadline, Hyde Park Township, is January 21, 2022. Now, there are multiple reasons why someone might want to appeal. I'm going to go over the 3 most common. The first one is lack of uniformity. That just means that myself, the assessor, and Angelina all live on the same block, house built by the same person, same size, same color, same construction, same everything. But for whatever reason, my value is greater than theirs, which means it's not uniform, and I want to know why. A lot of taxpayers choose lack of uniformity. The next one is overvaluation. That's probably going to be everybody here, right? There's no way my house is worth this much. If my house was worth this much, here go the keys, right? That's probably going to be everybody in here today. Next is incorrect property description or property description error. This is a factual error, not an opinionated error. I'm going to say that again. This is a factual error, like, hey, my square footage is incorrect. Our office says it's 1,200, but it's really 1,000. Or our office says you have a building with 6 apartments or less, but you really have a single family home, right? Where there's a factual error. When filing an appeal, guys, especially if you do it through our office, it is always free. You're probably receiving letters from attorneys letting you know that they can appeal for you on your behalf, but you have to give them X amount and then half of whatever you get off, whatever the case is. You don't need to hire them. However, you absolutely can if you want. But if I do my job correctly, you will see that you don't need to hire them. What you will need is a valid email address. Please know that it's best to start your appeal as soon as your township opens. Again, your township has been open since the 15th. So a week, basically. You have 30 days to file your appeal. Again, your closing deadline is January 21, 2022. Guys, you can start your appeal, you can save your appeal, you can modify your appeal, you can edit it, you can upload additional documentation, you can upload all kinds of things with your appeal. When filing an appeal, you want to go to cookcountyassessor.com, literally click the appeal tab, and then file an appeal. Now, if you have a residential property, so not a condo and not a commercial property, then you want to scroll all the way to the bottom and click on 2021 Real Estate Assessed Valuation Appeal Residential. That's what you want to click on. With comparable, with that allows you to find comparable properties. We're going to talk about that in a second. If you have a condo, then you want to click on the second option, which is 2021 Real Estate Assessed Valuation Appeal Condo/Co-op. We have a brand new tool where you can find comparable properties. Now listen, you don't need to file comparable properties. Our office is going to do that for you. However, we understand that this just might be something you want to do on your own. That's totally fine. You can absolutely do so. I'm going to leave this on the screen for a second. If you're rewatching this, you can pause it, write this down. We will also put in the comment section as well. cookcountyassessor.com. What are comparable properties with dash marks in between? This is where you can find comparable properties. Now, we have made the appeal process as easy as humanly possible. So here's what we did. We literally took the application, and we digitized it. When you file your appeal, this is what you're going to see. All you have to do is click on the tab and answer the question. The questions range from things like, what is your name? What is your PIN number? What is your address? To what are you trying to do, right? It's very simple. What I want to do is draw attention to two portions or two sections on here. The first one is additional PINs. This is only for taxpayers that have a prorated property. What does that mean? That means you receive more than 2 tax bills a year for the same property. If you're not sure if you have a prorated property, then the answer is probably you do not. The next part is the attachment portion or section, sorry. This is where you would submit additional documentation, pictures, closing documentation, sales analysis, an appraisal, appeal narrative, those kinds of things. This is where that would go. You can start your appeal, you can save your appeal, you can return to your application, but once you submit it, guys, you are done. Once you click the big submit button and then you click it again, you cannot edit your appeal. So please, again, your deadline is January 21, 2022. Please don't wait until January 21st to do this. You can do this today. You can do it tomorrow. Well, I know it's Christmas, but after Christmas, you can do this. Or you can do it today if you want to get it done with. And that should not say, that should say Hyde Park. Let me change that. Hyde Park. But the due date's correct. And now, types of exemptions. We have the homeowner exemption. This is for anyone who owned and occupied their property January 1 of 2020. If that's you, then you qualify for this exemption. The senior and the senior freeze exemption have an age requirement. You must have been born in 1955 or before. If you do not, then you have to wait until you qualify. Very simple. I'm actually going to our website right now on my other computer. I want to check something very, very quickly. Yes, okay. For the senior freeze, it's also the same thing. You must have been born in 1955 or before. You cannot make more than $65,000 as a total household income, and you must have owned and occupied the property January 1 of 2019 and January 1 of 2020. Please keep in mind that these 3 exemptions that I just talked about will be auto-renewing for next year as well, so that's some good news. The next exemption we're going to talk about is persons with disability. Look, our office has zero authority to tell you if you're disabled or not. So what we do is we give you an application, you take that to your doctor fills that out on your behalf, and as long as you meet the requirements, you will get the exemption. The next one is returning veterans. This is for any veteran returning from active duty for the year they return or for 1 year later. So it's kind of like a 2-year exemption. The next one is my favorite exemption. This is veterans with disability. This is for any veteran that has a service-connected disability eligibility rate of 30% or greater. So if you're 30 to 49%, you get X taken off of your tax bill. If you are 50 to 69%, you get X taken off of your tax bill. If you're 70 to 100%, you don't pay property taxes at all, as long as your property is not worth more than $800,000. The next one is the long time exemption. This exemption, you must have owned and occupied your property for 10 consecutive years. So January 1, 2010, all the way to January 1, 2020. You cannot make more than 100,000 as a total household income. And there's an equation that has to be done. Your equalized assessed value must have increased significantly depending on what township you live in. To keep this as simple as possible, our office already does this calculation for you. If you qualified, you would have received an application in April from our office. I would love to sit up here and say that our office is perfect, but that is not the case. So if you believe that you qualify, I will show you how to let us know as well. That's coming up soon. The last exemption is the only exemption you don't have to really apply for. Once you pull your permits, that information is sent to our office. Our office then determines if there was an improvement on the property or not. Any improvements up to $75,000 you are not accountable for 4 years. Anything greater than that, you are responsible for the difference. Now, earlier, the assessor was talking about websites where you can check your exemptions or check your history. You can also check out cookcountypropertyinfo.com. We use it every day. I'm going to leave this here just in case you're trying to write it down. You want to take a screenshot or you want to pause it. Go ahead. Here, you can see your tax bill amounts and history, your exemption history, any refunds if you are due them, any tax sales or delinquent tax bills, any appeals, property characteristics, and any document changes like liens or deeds or anything like that. You would want to check this out. It's useful to know. It's a good tool to have in your back pocket. cookcountypropertyinfo.com. Now, what happens if you go to our website or you go to the cookcountypropertyinfo.com and you see that you are missing exemptions you qualified for? What do? As of today, December 22nd, you can apply for what's called a certificate of error. This allows our office to go back in time and correct any exemptions you may be missing. We can go all the way back to 2017. So we do 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. It's super simple. You go to our website and you fill out the application, you mail it in, and then once it gets processed, the treasurer's office will then issue you a refund check if you are due one. Now, we already talked about a tax bill. I told you that you get a blue one when it's cold outside and you get a yellow one when it's warm outside. But I want to draw your attention to this portion under where it says tax calculator. This red portion here, this is where all of your exemptions are listed. Your homeowner exemption, your senior citizen, your senior freeze, your disabled person, disabled veteran, returning veteran, all of those will be listed here with an amount if you receive them. The only one that won't be listed here is the long-time exemption. That will be listed under important messages. The treasurer's office, they just do it that way. I'm not sure why, but regardless, that's where the information is. Lastly, we are socially active, so please follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. We can be contacted at cookcountyassessor.com. You can DM us, send us your messages. We have someone who will go through these all of the time, all throughout the day to make sure things are answered in a timely fashion. Also, you can contact us directly at 312-443-7550. We do answer the phone, guys. So what I want to do is I want to stop sharing my screen, and I want to go ahead, jump into the comment section, and see if we have any questions. So I am a new homeowner. Can I file an application for the homeowner exemption? Do I have to apply every year? Great question. So depends on what you mean. So let's set the scenario. If you just purchased a home and it was owner occupied on January 1 of 2020, then yes, you can apply for the homeowner exemption and your property will receive it because the property was owner occupied on January 1. But let's say you did not move in January 1. I'm sorry. Let's say you didn't, it was not owner occupied on January 1, then no, unfortunately, the exemption would not be able to be applied to the property because it was not owner occupied January 1. The good news is once you apply, that exemption is automatic unless there is a deed change. Next question. This is a YouTube question, so it's worth 30 points. Which exemptions auto renew next year? So as of this moment right now, what will be auto renewing next year is the homeowner exemption, the senior citizen exemption, the senior freeze exemption, and the disabled veterans exemption. Am I missing any, boss? You are on mute.
People with disabilities also.
The the persons with disability exemptions also. So the 5. So the homeowner, senior freeze, disabled veteran, and persons with disability exemption. Those will all automatically renew.
And those latter 3 have been renewed each year by the General Assembly because of the particularly great difficulties we're facing because of COVID.
Absolutely.
As a matter of course, the homeowners exemption and the senior citizens homestead exemption, these are renewing every year. There are a small number of senior citizen exemptions where we may be doing an audit, but generally those will be auto renewing every year.
Awesome. Russ Nelson says, will I have to apply to renew my senior freeze, or will it be automatic like last year? We just answered that question, but maybe you just hopped on, or you asked this question at the beginning of the presentation. But as the assessor stated, the homeowner, senior freeze, disabled persons, and disabled veterans all will be renewing next year, auto renewing.
The key thing to make sure, Russ, is make sure you still qualify.
Absolutely.
That you're still meeting the conditions to receive the senior freeze. But assuming that's the case, then the senior freeze will automatically renew this year only.
Yes. Let's see what else we have. Oh, we have Michelle in the comment section answering questions. Let's give a round of applause to Michelle, guys. She is one of my employees, one of my coworkers, who's always in the comment section answering all the questions. So thank you, Ms. Michelle. Next question. Where can I find the Hyde Park valuation report, and how do I know my neighborhood code? You want to take this one, boss?
Well, yes. So in your neighborhood notice, in your assessment notice that you would have received in the mail or that you can see online, you will not only have an estimate of value, a market value for your home, but there's also a neighborhood code with that reassessment notice. And Hector, I don't know if we have a picture of the assessment notice that we can show to people, and you can circle where that neighborhood code is on the notice.
Yep. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Right here, share. And the reassessment notice is this one right here, the one that's black, white, and gray, and your neighborhood code is the 3rd line item down.
Yep.
So it would say neighborhood code right there. So
you can go to that link that's there down at the bottom at www.cookcountyassessor.com/valuation-reports. And then you can go and check out that neighborhood code within Hyde Park and find all the details about sales that happened in that neighborhood.
Awesome. It looks like we don't have any other questions left. So any closing remarks, boss?
Well, hey, everyone, we're really very grateful that you came here. We know there's a lot of information. If you didn't get your questions answered, if you need more questions, if you have some things that are still hanging out there, please reach out to us. Send us an email. You can email us or call us at www.cookcountyassessor.com/contact, and that will compose an email. Or you can call us, 312-443-7550. We put in place a new call center that is providing you much better service. Give it a try if you haven't had a chance.
Awesome.
And you can make an appointment at our office to meet with a professional. We're trying to meet you wherever you are, doing it safely. We just wanted to thank everyone. You guys are overcoming a lot. We're all overcoming a lot, and we're trying to deal with the holiday season on top of that. So please stay safe. We're here to help you, and let us know if there's anything else that we can do. We're here to serve you. So
absolutely.
Have a happy New Year, everyone, and take care out there.
Yeah. Thank you guys for being here. You literally could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us. Thank you so much. Please stay safe. Whoa, I'm blurry. Please stay safe. Be wise out there. Have a great holiday. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Share this. Tag people in the comment section who may not have been able to watch this. But definitely thank you for your time. We love you guys. Please be safe.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.